Good afternoon, I'm Raylene Ramsey. This is your afternoon news fix for Monday, the 24th of March. The government's scrapping the Resource Management Act and replacing it with new planning laws. Here's political reporter Azaria Howell.
RMA Reform Minister Chris Bishop says current rules make it too hard to build the infrastructure and houses New Zealand desperately needs. He says Cabinet's agreed on a blueprint for reform which will standardise zoning and remove many differences for each local council. He claims the replacement RMA will cut admin and compliance costs by 45%.
Armed police remain at a Christchurch property in Sydenham after reports a person was making threats. Emergency services were called to Percival Street mid-morning with a wide cordon in place. Herald reporter Katie Oliver says people are shocked and evacuated residents allege the person involved has made threats before.
Including the local church and the stores across the road. Some of the women report actually feeling quite terrified sometimes.
The government's officially kick-started getting the public's perspective of a free trade deal with India. The Prime Minister's returned from a trip to New Delhi and Mumbai, optimistic an agreement can be reached soon. Here's political editor Jason Walls.
Trade Minister Todd McClay says negotiations are underway and he wants Kiwis' views on how to get the most out of the deal. He says the government's offering all interested New Zealanders the opportunity to make a submission before April 15th. And he says this includes businesses, NGOs and members of the public.
Police are asking for information or witnesses to a fatal car and motorbike crash in the Bay of Plenty's Whakatane yesterday. They say it appears the motorcyclist slid into the opposite lane as they rounded a corner on Ohope Road about 5 p.m. A car struck the bike and flipped on its roof. Paediatric palliative care is under review as concerns are raised about gaps in care for dying children. The only publicly funded specialist in the field is on leave from Starship until April with no replacement. Danica McLean has more.
Auckland City Hospital says there's funding for another specialist, but its nature makes it a hard job to fill. They're also recruiting for medical and nursing roles. Meanwhile, a working group has developed advice on potential future options for nationwide care, and that will soon be put up for feedback.
A desire to see comprehensive primary and community care teams continue beyond June. Budget 2022 allocated 3 years funding for such things as GP pharmacists, care coordinators and physios. Pharmaceutical Society President Michael Hammond says they deliver many benefits and should continue.
It's really helping to relieve some of the heavy workload that falls on the doctors and nurses working in primary care. And it's not just increasing the capacity, but it's also an additional skill set.
Health NZ is considering options, and Minister Simeon Brown says clinics could use some extra funding announced this month. To sport and a flurry of emotions for Tom Walsh after winning shot put gold at the World Indoor Athletics Championship in China. The 33-year-old threw a season's best 21.65 metres to win the title for a third time. Northern Districts have leapt to the top of the table in domestic cricket's Plunket Shield after clinching a 20-run win over hosts Wellington. Mixed reviews from New Zealand driver Peter Burling after they finished 5th and failed to make the final at the Sail GP Regatta in San Francisco. That is your latest news fix. We'll be back with the next update tomorrow morning from the Newstalk ZB newsroom.